Welcome to Corner Off Mainstream. I am your host, David, and for those of you who are new to the show, I recommend 5 movies pretty much a week. 5 movies that are not in the mainstream. You may have heard of them. You more likely haven't, but don't be surprised. There are some that I guess would fall under cult status, so depending on people you speak to and everything, you'll find that you possibly heard of it. The first movie I want to bring up is a drama. It's called Welcome to the Rileys. It was in 2010. James Gandolfini was in this movie, and so was Kristen Stewart. I think both of them did a remarkable job. It was a good movie. It's about Doug and Lois. That's James Gandolfini and his wife. They've been married 30 years, and the thing you start realizing is the marriage isn't going well. And Lois pretty much hasn't left the house. She doesn't really talk. Their marriage is real, shaky. But, they do have a love for each other. And I guess that's maybe why they put up with it. And James Gandolfini has a Thursday night poker game every night where afterwards he meets his mistress. And he has to go to a convention in New Orleans. Which, while he's down there, he runs into Kristen Stewart, who's a 22-year-old stripper, which turns out to be a 16-year-old runaway. And you find out that James has a 15-year-old daughter who was killed in a car accident years earlier, which is part of the reason why him and his wife's marriage is having trouble. And he ends up staying in New Orleans trying to help Kristen Stewart out. Which in the end, you find that, they need her and she needs them. And it was a really good movie. And I think you'll really enjoy it. Again, that was Welcome to the Rileys. You can get that on DVD. But it was a good movie, and I think you'll enjoy it. The next movie I want to throw in there, you may have heard of this one, you may not have. It was in 2006. It was with Josh Hartnett, Morgan Freeman, Ben Kingsley, Bruce Willis had a part in there, Lucy Liu. It's called Lucky Number Slevin. It's a crime mystery comedy drama, you could say. Josh Hartnett, down on his luck, goes out to New York to visit a friend of his, and he ends up not finding his friend. And it turns out there was a couple mob bosses that were looking for his buddy and confuse him as his friend. And they kind of pull him into the trouble. Which you'll get to learn what the St. Louis Shuffle is. It's a funny movie. It carries along very well. Good action. But I'll tell you this. Has a great twist at the end. Great twist. But, that's a good recommendation right there. If you want a good crime drama, mystery, that's lighthearted and very enjoyable. It's a good movie to see. I recommend that one for you. I think you really like that one. Next one I want to throw in there is a horror movie. It's called VHS. Came out in 2012. It's about a bunch of punks who videotape their vandalism exploits, and somewhere along the line they get this anonymous person that hires them to rob a house because they're looking for a specific VHS tape. And they're like, yeah, sure, why not, we'll do this. So they go in, and when they're in there, they find that first of all there's a million VHS tapes all over the place. There's a dead guy in a chair, and they're like, I wonder what's on the tape, and they pop the tape in. And what you find out is the tape is like 5 short horror stories. And in between each one, they go back to those main characters of what's going on with them. And the stories are spooky. You really dig it. Grab a bowl of popcorn. You're sniffing at others. Curl up on the couch. Turn on all the lights. Watch this movie. It'll spook you a little bit. And you know what? The stories are pretty good. And they're oof. They hit you in the spot. They're good, but you'll enjoy it. Next movie, another comedy. This one actually came out in 1995, and it's called 4 Rooms. It's where Tim Roth is actually a bellhop on his first night of work on New Year's Eve in a luxury hotel that's kind of like on the way down. And the movie takes place with 4 rooms where, you know, each room has its own story. And actually when they shot this movie, a different director directed each of the rooms and they melded it all together. And, you know, in the end, it all ties in. And you know what? It's a very interesting movie. But yet, at the same time, the way it ends, you're just like, wow, this was nuts. And it's a really good roller coaster ride. You really enjoy it. I think it's a good one to watch. Again, like I said, 4 rooms. It's on DVD. Check it out. I think you really enjoy that one. The last one is, it's a comedy, and it's like, you know, B-movie, stupid comedy. It's called Run, Ronnie, Run. I couldn't tell you how many times I was in Best Buy and I always see it sitting on the shelf there, and it just interests me. I was like, oh, I wonder what this is. And then one day I just pulled the trigger and bought it, and I gotta tell you, it's a stupid B-movie comedy, and it was hilarious. I believe it's a spin-off that came from a comedy series show called Mr. Show. And what it is, it's Ronwell Quincy Dobbs. He's just a redneck guy who has this knack of getting arrested. Gets drunk and does stupid stuff and gets arrested. And one night he's actually, you know, caught on camera on one of the cop shows. And a British inventor who's trying to get like his own reality shows or infomercials going sees him and decides, you know what, I can make a show out of this guy. And what he does is he creates a TV show where Ronnie travels the country getting arrested in a different town every night. And you kind of also see how Ronnie also has to get accustomed to fame and success at the same time. But it is a great movie and it is hilarious. It's one, you know what, get a group of your friends over and, you know, drink some beers, you know, do what you got to do and watch this movie. You'll really enjoy it. It's funny as hell. I loved it. Those are my 5 recommendations this week. Next week, I'll throw in a couple tearjerkers, you know, for you guys and girls, because I think I've hit a lot of dramas and stuff. But, you know, there's a lot of amazing movies out there. And also want to try and get a couple documentaries in there for those of you who are into documentaries. I mean, there's some great documentaries out. But if you got any comments, questions, suggestions, corneroffmainstream@gmail.com. That's corneroffmainstream@gmail.com. Please drop me a line. You know, like I said, any comments, questions, just throw it in there. And I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you enjoy watching the movies, because I think some of these movies, they're really great and you don't want to miss them. All right? I'll see you next week.